Today we traveled from Setong back to Lhasa, and we traveled on the most gloriously paved road that I had ever seen after all those bumpy roads. It was the first time I actually was able to sleep on the bus and also actually enjoy some of the scenery because my head wasn't hitting the ceiling. Once we got to Lhasa, we went to a country village to visit a Tibetan in his own household.
Then we were inside and we met the man who owned the house, Kelsam Punso, and he invited us in, sat us down, served us some hot water, which I'm hoping was boiled at some point, and offered us candy, which was really nice.
This is chocolate. That's international language for me.
We just sort of sat and chatted through an interpreter, and he showed us around the house, and one room was entirely devoted to a Buddhist altar. So it was almost like he had his own little monastery inside the house.
We talked to him a little bit and found out that he is not only Buddhist but also has posters of Mao on his wall, and it was interesting to hear both how religious he is and how much he favors the recent changes here in Tibet.
After doing the country visit, we came back into Lhasa and we did sort of a city version of the visit. We went to what was kind of an apartment complex in the Tibetan quarter and met a man named Ishi, and he's 69 years old, and he invited us into his apartment, and it was a great deal smaller than the country house. His apartment probably could have fit in the main sitting room at the other house. But it was a nice, cozy apartment, and he also had one room entirely dedicated to a Buddhist shrine, and he also had Mao on the wall. And he was also very complimentary about the current government and how they've raised standard of living and changed Tibet for the better. And it was actually a really interesting experience because it got me thinking a lot. And, you know, first knee-jerk reaction is, oh, he's a shill for the government. Because it was actually a sort of a government-arranged visit. So first reaction is, oh, he's just spouting the Communist Party line, and they told him to say that. But then the more we think about it, Tibet probably was an extremely rough place to live before the communist takeover, and standard of living probably has gotten a whole lot better. He's got himself a nice apartment. Lord knows where he was living back when he was a young kid or when he was 15, 20. So the more I learn, the more confused I get about the whole situation, which I think is actually a very good thing. Because before coming here, all I really knew about Tibet was the American media policy. And my first knee-jerk reaction is, oh, the communists told him to say that. And the more I think about it, all I know about Tibet is what America has told me to think about it. So it's good to come here and get all kinds of different views, and while it's not clearing anything up for me, it's at least making me think more and make me realize that everything I know, I don't know.
It's easy to imagine that life here is a lot better. Just the living conditions and dealing with the weather and some of the access to consumer goods that they might have, but it's also hard to know if these people were being honest or not, and I'll always wonder if that's my perspective on things or if that's a realistic view of things to consider while you're here in Tibet. One refrain I've been saying over and over and over again is the longer I'm here, the less I know about the situation. It's just very complex, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to escape some of the American media and look into it a little bit further by meeting Tibetan people. I just hope to do a little bit more digging and see if I can reach any conclusions. I'm not really sure that I will.
Today we got back to Lhasa and we went on some home visits.
but I think I honestly expressed my feelings about the whole thing about as well as I possibly could down in the courtyard, and I don't think I really have anything to add to that.
And I think from a political standpoint that saving Tibet isn't possible. I think that it's probably just a province in China for a long time to come. But I think that you can also do Tibetan culture and the Tibetan lifestyle and those things about themselves and their identity that they want to maintain. I'm hopeful that they'll find a way to keep those things alive while falling into the Chinese mainstream and improving their lifestyles.